audible? Welcome, Salma. Welcome to this session. Guys, till the time we wait for us to join social media platforms, we shared the link in the chat box. and the time we wait for the participants to join, social media platform communities have already shared the link chat box. So right, we'll start the session in few minutes. With well, Hello, Archie, am I audible?
Yes.
Hello and welcome everyone to this session. I am Shubh Parmar, your host for today's webinar. My team and I are here to make sure you have a seamless and engaging experience. If you have any questions or need assistance, feel free to use the chat window. We are here to help. So the topic for today is Introduction to Prompt Engineering. So about Synergetics, today's event is sponsored by Synergetics. Before we dive into today's session, let me take a moment to introduce Synergetics. Synergetics is a leading edge learning solutions provider in India, offering specialized training and consulting services. We empower businesses and professionals to thrive in today's fast evolving tech landscape by delivering transformative learning experiences. Our core focus is on enabling digital transformation through innovative skilling programs, advisory services, and end to end implementation support. From modernizing IT frameworks to mastering emerging technologies like AI, cloud computing, and DevOps, Synergetics is committed to equipping you with the tools and knowledge to succeed. We are thrilled to have Mr. Makarand Boyd as our today's speaker. He's a certified Microsoft trainer and a consultant at Synergetics. He brings a wealth of knowledge and experience in AI and cloud technologies. The agenda for of this webinar is foundation models and large language models, key concepts of prompt engineering, basic prompt techniques like zero shot prompting, few shot prompting, chain of thought prompting. So we run communities on Meetup. This is the emerging technology community. Anyone who are eager to learn about technological knowledge can join this community on Meetup. We have multiple communities in Pune, Gujarat, Nagpur, and Indore. So those who are interested to join this community, please log into the Meetup app and gain your knowledge for free. So accelerate your cloud journey with our AWS webinar series. Whether you are just getting started or looking to deepen your expertise, our curated webinar series has something for everyone. So launch your tech career with AWS Basics, which is perfect for beginners. Understand AWS fundamentals, explore career roles, and kickstart your certification journey. So for IT professionals and developers, dive into cloud architecture, migrations, and advanced tools like machine learning and prompt engineering. So for data and AI professionals, master data strategies, analytics, and AI essentials that help you stay ahead in a data driven world. For business and technical decision makers, Gain clarity on cloud investments, generative AI use cases, and why AWS certification adds strategic value. Join our expert led sessions and future proof your skills with AWS. I would like to take a moment to share some information about the certification, this webinars you have been conducting at Synergetics. So these webinars you have been attending are designed to just give a brief overview and summary of the full course content. However, the HL certification training programs for this courses run over 4 days, and we are currently offering them at a special discounted rate exclusively for the webinar attendees. On my screen, you can see the in-demand certification courses we are currently focusing on. Uh, to register or for more details, feel free to connect to one of my colleagues, Mr. Vivek Balasundaram. I'll share his contact and email in the chat box. So you can connect with him for more details regarding this courses. So all right, everyone, it's time for a quick quiz to make a session a little more interactive and fun. We have 5 questions lined up, and each will test your knowledge of today's topic. Don't worry, it's all about learning, so think of this as a chance to check how much you have picked up. So, after each question, quickly drop your answers in the chat box. So, the first question is, which of the following best describes prompt engineering? Is it A, B, C, or D? Just quickly drop your answers in the chat box. Let's see who knows better. I see very few of them answering. Everyone, please do answer. Don't worry, it's just for fun and your knowledge. So yes, B is the right answer for this question, crafting effective inputs to guide AI model responses. We'll quickly jump to the next question. What is a key principle of writing effective prompts? What is the right answer? A, B, C, or D? Quickly drop your answers in the chat box. Everyone, please do answer. Quickly drop your answers in the chat box. Is it A, B, C, or D? Well, that's correct. C is the right answer for this question. Use clear, specific instructions. We'll jump to the next question. What is few shot prompting? Quickly drop your answers in the chat box. Is it A, B, C, or D? Quickly drop your answers in the chat box. Yeah, good going. Yes, B is the right answer. Providing examples within the prompt to guide responses. We'll jump to the next question. Which prompt style is used when you provide no examples? Only a task? Is it A, B, C, or D? Quickly drop your answers in the chat box. Yes, A is the right answer. Zero shot prompting. We'll jump to the last question now. Why is chain of thought prompting useful? Drop the correct answer A, B, C, or D. This is the last question. Quickly drop your answers. Let's see who knows better. Well, that's correct. B is the right answer. It improved the model's reasoning and step-by-step answers. I hope everyone enjoyed the quiz. So everyone, please do follow us on all on our social media platforms to get relevant updates on upcoming webinars, workshops, and certifications training we do. The link is already shared in the chat box, so stay updated. Thank you so much everyone for listening to me. Now we'll hand over the mic to a speaker. Makaran sir, you can take over from here.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I'm sharing my screen, guys. Let me know if my screen is visible to you. Can you give me a thumbs up, please, if it is visible?
Yes, sir, it's visible clearly.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So welcome to the session on prompt engineering. So I will introduce you to this entirely new world of prompt engineering. So before we start with the session, let me introduce myself. First of all, my name is Makrand, and I'm having around 19 plus years of teaching plus development experience. I'm Microsoft certified trainer as introduced by the Shubh. So I have completed my AZ 400 certification, so which is Azure DevOps engineer, as well as I have completed my AZ 204, which is Azure developer, and AZ 104, which is Azure administrator. Along with Microsoft technologies, I have completed certification from the AWS side also. I'm AWS Architect Associate and AWS Authorized Instructor, AAI. So I've conducted a lot of trainings into a lot of corporates, including TCS, Accenture, JP Morgan, Siemens, L&T Infotech, Capgemini. So these are some of my primary client list where I have delivered the trainings. Okay, so in the today's session, in the today's webinar, I will introduce you to the prompt engineering. So Shubh has already told you what is going to be agenda for this session. By the way, let me tell you formally. So this is going to be agenda for this session. So we will explore, we'll start with our foundational model and LLMs. Then I'll introduce you to the models first. Then the key concepts of prompt engineering. You know. So we'll see some example of a vague prompt and could be an effective prompt. Then we will see the anatomy of prompt. So what it includes, the every prompts has some things included. So what it includes, what are the anatomy of a prompt? We will explore that, and we'll conclude our session, by understanding the zero shot prompting, few shot prompting, and chain of thought prompting. So I'll just give you an example of every style, and we will see how the result will vary. Okay, so this is going to be agenda for this session. So let's get started, guys. So I'll start with foundational model. So what is the role of foundational model? So let's understand first what is foundational model really does and how does it work. So foundational model are the pre-trained model. So example of the foundational model. So Amazon, Titan, Metas, Llama, Cloud, or Sonnet, or there are many more foundational models are available. So these are some of the examples which I've given you. The foundational model. So the role of really the foundational model, so it is pre-trained on the massive amount of data. So think of as if like when we were a child, we trained on ABCD. So we learned initially how to write ABCD. Then slowly and steadily we will uh, we are introduced to the different words. Okay, and now we knows, our memory knows different words, so that one can easily able to predict what comes. So if I give you one example, what comes after this phrase. So once upon dash. So if you say once upon dash, so by natural, it will come into my mind once upon time. If I give you one more example, the cat sat on the dash. The cat sat on the mat. I want to go to school. He looked up at the sky. So these are the some of the example which you could be able to predict based on whatever be the knowledge you are having. Okay. So exactly same way, the foundational model are also trained on the massive amount of data. You know, so this is pre-trained. So it is trained on the massive amount of data. So it can adapt text, summarize text, it can extract the information, it can generate the image. You can do a question answer session with the foundational model. So it can do varieties of a task based on whatever knowledge it has. So like for example, when we learn ABCD, and when we able to form a particular word, okay, then we could able to answer few basic questions. Our memory work like that. Okay, so the foundation model exactly going to work in that way. So there are few models. So foundational model is a broader category. So one of the sub model is a large language model, so which is also called as famously LLMs. So it is going to handle a text only. So LLMs can take text as an input and can give you a text as an output. So LLM, large language model, it's is one of the type of the model, or one of the subtype of the foundational model. So whatever kind of a data I'm having with the foundational model, okay, and we will do some kind of a fine tuning, and with the help of prompt engineering, we are going to give a prompt to the model, and model will give us a back uh, a result or response. Okay, So there are few types of foundational model. So LLM, large language model, is one of the type. Then we have a VLM, vision language model. Then we have a audio foundational model. Then we have a code foundational model. Then there is something called as a diffusion, foundational model, which is actually responsible for generating an image. So there are many types of the foundational model which are dedicated to perform individual activity. So for example, LLM can generate only text. Okay. Or if I just say VLM, vision language model, so it is used for maybe captioning the image. Maybe if you give that image, it will describe that image. Okay, if I say audio foundational model, so it can recognize speech, it can convert a speech to text, it can generate music. So every kind of a model has individual roles and responsibilities. So LLM can generate, it can take input text and give you output as a text. Okay, whereas I can say the image generation model, so which can take text and which will give you some kind of an image back. Okay, we have a VLM which can take image as an input, and based on that image, it can give you a text as out. Okay, so but the core of it is foundational model, and the foundational model is a pre-trained model. And there are many different kinds of a foundational models are available. Okay, you can consider this large language model. So where I will give some kind of a input in the form of a prompt. So when I go and write some prompt, I will pass that prompt to the LLM. But there are under LLM also there are several parts it can connect, but you can overall visualize it as a LLM, and it will give us an output finally. So you can visualize this way. So to any kind of a LLM, we will give a prompt. Okay. And writing the effective prompt is very, very important. So for example, I'm just writing a prompt, so that prompt looks like very general prompt, so that will also give you a general response. So for example, I'm just giving a prompt like this. So let's say I'm giving a prompt in this way. So what is a good gift for a friend? So it is very generic question. So when you give a generic question, the possibility of that, it will give you also a generic ideas. It will give you also a generic response. So you have to be very specific whenever you are writing a prompt. You have to be very specific. So in this case, for example, someone can say, so suggest a 2000 rupees gift or under 2000 rupees gift for my friend who has recently bought a new home and who loves cooking. you know so that can give you a better suggestion. So if you provide that very specific information and what you want exactly, you have specified that. And if you can provide some example also in what format you want, the response, so it will be able to help you in better manner. So it will give you a response, the better way. So there are anatomy, when we write a prompt, so there is some structure of prompt also. So my prompt should go and include the text. Okay, so my prompt should include, so what role you're playing. So it should include some kind of a role. So if I'm asking as a developer, you just specify that, as a developer, I want to know this. So you have to specify your role. That role is also called as a persona. So what role should the model play? Then once we include that persona, then what are the instruction? So what should that model do? So typically, that instruction includes your question. So what do you want to do? You know, so instruction, what you should do or what model should do. This typically starts with the words like, so create, give me, or starts with, so it will includes the action verbs. Along with the instruction, you should go and include the input content. So for example, we should go and include some examples. So if you are asking the question, if you provide what kind of input sample data it should recognize, so if you can give that information, so that will also help the model to prepare the response, appropriate response. Then in what format you want that output or response, so you can specify that also. Okay, and any other additional information what you have, you can specify that also. So I'm giving you one example. Okay, so let's say I'm just asking. So this, we have taken that first example. So this is the example of my vague prompt. So I will go over here and I'll just open Chat GPT. So Chat GPT is one of the Gen AI tool. So to the Chat GPT, if I ask this question, so what's a good gift for a friend? So if I just press enter, then it can give the wide range of gift. And let me just go and open it in some private window, so it will not have. I open it in a private window, I will not get that license. Okay, so my point is, so if you don't provide the context, so who is that friend? Okay, what his or her liking, So it will not give you a specific answer. So it will give you a vague output. So for the vague question, it will give you a vague, answer or vague response. Vis-a-vis, if you ask, this question. So for example, suggest rupees 2000 gift for a friend, okay, who loves cooking and who just bought a new house. So as for her or as for him, so it will give you a recommendation. You know? So this way you are already using unknowingly, the anatomy of the prompt. You must be using this already. So if I just go and say explain API. So it will go and explain everything about the API. But what do you want specifically from that? If you specify that, it will give you a specific answer. Or if you give the prompt like teach me a Java. So whatever be the existing knowledge that model has, so based on that knowledge, it will try to give you a response. So for example, vis-a-vis, rather than providing this prompt, if I just give this prompt, so probably explain what is an API is in one paragraph using real world analogy for non-tech employee. So if you put your question in detail, what you want, so it will be able to give you the answer, as per you, as per your requirement. So you can look at this. An API is application programming interface, like a messenger between two people who don't speak same language. So now you will be able to visualize what is exactly API is going to do. Why? Because you told that ChatGPT, I need an real world analogy. So like this, when we form a prompt to any kind of generative AI tool, let it be a I'm using a chat GPT, I'm using a OpenAI, I'm using a Bedrock from AWS, or I'm using any other tool, the concept remains same for prompt engineering. You have to give a question to that tool, and generally when we form a prompt, so that prompt should have so all these things. So I'll just go and mention what it should have. So prompt should have a persona. So this is anatomy of a prompt. So a prompt should have persona. What is persona? So what kind of a role while answering your query, what kind of a role that model should play. You should specify that. Then Second thing, I will have some kind of an instruction. So what exactly I mean? Third thing, I will be giving some kind of an input. Okay, input. Then what kind of a format? My response should included in what kind of a format. If I give some examples around that format, so that will also help you to give an better response. And then additional information. So all these things will be included in the, should be included in the, the better prompt. So when we write, effective prompt or better prompt, my prompt should contain an persona, instruction, input content, format, and then additional information. So, so for example, let's say I'm just writing and prompt this way. Okay, so I'll just give you an example. Okay, so this way, if you're writing the prompt, okay, so then if you look at this prompt as a data analyst, okay, preparing a report for executives. So you're telling it should act as a data analyst, you know, who is responsible for preparing data or preparing report for an executive, generate a summary of key finding from, so and so sales report or sales performance data set, written in that written in a natural language within 3 to 4 insight, and one chart recommendation. Avoid any technical terms. Okay, instead focused on the business impact and the trends. So if you look at this particular prompt, and if I just try and what is the persona? Okay, so this word is tell you who is. Okay, so that model should play as a role of a data analyst. So data analyst wants to prepare and report. Okay, then what is exactly an instruction? Okay, so instruction based on some kind of an input which this prompt will provide, you know, based on that, generate a summary. Okay, then what is going to be input? Okay, so assuming that we are also providing along with this prompt some kind of a data set, some Excel or some kind of data set, so that will act as an input for this prompt. Okay, then what is the format? Then format is going to be written in the natural language with 3 to 4 insights. Okay, and one chart recommendation. So that will be a format. And along with this, it is good to give additional information. Okay, so and what is an additional information? So this is an additional information. So what to include, what not to include. Otherwise, the model can provide us, the output which we may not need. So if you look at this example, so in this example, you're able to extract these information from this prompt. Yeah? So if I give you one more example, so for example, let's assume this prompt. Okay. And from this prompt, you try and identify the persona, you try and identify what are the instruction, then input content, what is the format, and then what is the additional information. So, okay. So as a technical writer, so now it should play and role of technical writer who is responsible for creating an internal project documentation. So that is a persona. You know, so that is a persona who should play. The model should play. So whose role it should play. So model should play whichever model I'm giving this prompt. That model should play as a role of a technical writer who is writing and documentation. And what is the instruction? So to summarize, what you know, so all those API will need to provide additional information we need to provide. So these information, assuming that we are providing in that prompt itself, so after that, what is the format? So assume that technical assume that technical audience is familiar with the REST API, but not this particular service. Avoid clearly technical jargons, avoid over rely on technical jargon and keep it under 300 quotes. So this could be what even additional information. So all these things should include when you write a prompt. So formally, what is exactly prompt is going to include? I hope you're listening to me. Okay. So this is exactly what we have discussed in that earlier discussion. So anatomy of a prompt or elements of the prompt. So it should include the, I mentioned that persona and instruction. So that can include, comes under this. It can include the additional context. So I was talking about this, the input content. So input content you can visualize as a context. Okay. And then input data. So additionally, I can provide an input data, and by the way, the context can be it can be what uh, different background information, you can say. Okay. Related to the related to the questions. So when you provide a better prompt, we will get a better response. So when we form a prompt, it is depend on the instruction, context, input data, and output indicator. That is format. You know, so instruction is a task for a LLM what to do. It generally provides an task description, like for example, generate a summary, prepare a report. So this could be acting as an instruction. Context, this is generally external information, you know, or you can consider it as a background information provided to the model. Then input data could be, could be act as a additional information for that model to prepare a better response. And output indicator. So how you want that response from the model. So output indicator indicates in what format you need or you want the output. Isn't it? Okay. So let me just give you one simple example. So I'll just prepare this one and we will try to understand this. Okay, let me just tweak this prompt. So I'll just go and give this prompt as a technical writer who is responsible for creating and documentation. Please summarize the API documentation for any login and logout output, logout endpoints. Assume that the audience is familiar with the REST API, but not particular with this service. Avoid over rely on the technical jargon. Let's see how it gives us a response. So I'm just asking. Probably it is, because since we haven't provided any kind of input or output, I have just told to the model that you have to consider any login and logout endpoints. So as for that, it is showing us, and general description or general the output it is showing. Let me tell you one prompt. So by using which we will be able to create an image, and this prompt. So I have just asked my 8-year-old daughter to, give her imagination how she wants an image. So when she, when she go and draw the image on the, on the drawing paper, so I just told her to give her, random imagination. Okay. And I got this, prompt. So if I just give this prompt, over here. uh, So I'm asking as 8-year old kid, create an image of large strawberry, and inside strawberry include one smiley face, one rose, one heart, two stars, one cute panda holding three balloons, one boba tea. I don't know who is this boba tea, but that is one of the cartoon character. I believe one donut and milkshake, one slice of watermelon, on and one cherry. So I just got this random prompt, and when I tried this, so when I give this prompt, it will give me a nice, looking image based on what she want. And I provided the persona also. So saying that I am the 8-year-old kid, so prepare accordingly an image. So let's see how it is preparing an image. And you have to remember that every time you go and give an input or prompt, each time it may not give you a same output. It might give you, different output every time you give a same prompt. Okay, so it is taking a little long to prepare an image, and let's see this. So this has created an image. So this is the image ultimately, so whatever image she is having in her mind, we could able to, or this model could able to draw it. But over here, the large language model will not be come into a picture, because large language model will handle only the text. LLM can handle only the text. So there is an image generation model. So I think DAL E2, DAL E3. So that is going to take this text and will give you an image. You know. Okay. So as for the AWS, this has given a prompt. So there are many examples in this slides they're given. So write a summary of service review using 2 sentence. Store online service and shipping online, and so review Amazon Prime Studio. Oh, sorry, Amazon Prime Student is a great option for student looking to save money. Not paying for shipping is biggest save in my opinion. So this is basically the prompt, which AWS has created to promote the the primes. I think Prime subscription. So if you give overall, if you give this prompt, it might give you this kind of output. So where just like we segregate it, this is also segregating the prompt. So this is your instruction and output indicator. So write and summary for a service using two sentence. So this is your instruction. Okay. And what I want, so I need only two sentence. So this is my output indicator. Context. So this is running probably online store. This is a context. In my case, I am the 8-year-old kid. So that could be act as a persona as well as it is a, going to act as a context also. Because if I'm imagining the same situation as a 60-year-old person, so the same prompt might go and prepare some kind of a different image also. So we'll try because I would also like to try this. So let's see. And let's see, I am acting as 40-year-old person, and I'm giving the same prompt. And let's see whether it is creating different image. I'm providing exactly same data. Let's see. I will also try this. So let's see. Whether I'm getting a same image or when I specify a different image, oh, sorry, when I specify a different context, does it provide me a different output or by the way, I'm just sharing this prompt to you also. So in case if you want to try, you can just go and try this. I hope you are listening to me, guys. You're listening to me. Give me a thumbs up if you're listening to me. Yeah, thank you so much. So almost similar kind of an image it has generated. So it does not make any difference, barring a few color change. Okay, in this case, it does not create any kind of a difference. Okay. So when we write a prompt, I should go and write a prompt in such a way that my prompt should be very clear and very concise. It should be very clear and concise. My prompt should be having a clear objective. So what do you want? So exactly what you want, it should include that. So for being clear, you have to just include and appropriate action verb, indicating what you want, specify, specify the output you want for which kind of audience, whether it is a technical audience or non-technical audience, whether you are generating something, for 15-year-old kid or less than 15-year-old, kids, or more than, okay, 20 years old, adults. specify, exact output format, the desired output format. Okay. You know, so your prompt has to be very clear and concise. It should include, how you want output. Okay. Then offers the background information. That is context. Include the context. Okay. So include the context. Use an appropriate direction. So you have to specify, you have to give a specific example, to be able to think that model. So if I'm working as a developer, Java developer, I want this. So that is going to be act as a specific direction. So how that model should think like. Okay. Provide example. So provide example wherever possible. So providing an example that comes under few short prompting, or the iterative prompting. So we have seen so far uh, zero shot prompting. That means we have given only the question. I did not train that model by giving the appropriate questions and answer. So for example, few sample question and sample answer. I did not train the model. I have given a zero shot prompting. So where I have specified only the question, and based on whatever be the pre-knowledge that model has, it gives us an output. So iterative prompt, so break your entire task into few tasks, and give that subtask along with what do you want exactly. Okay. So be clear and concise. So prompt should be straightforward, and avoid any kind of ambiguity. Write a clear prompt. Include the context, background information wherever possible. If you want a particular output, that response should include. My question itself should have, that what kind of a output I want. So start prompt with question. So phrase your question or phrase your input as a question, beginning the prompt. So for example, who, what, where, okay, how. So it should start your question or start your prompt as if you're phrasing a question to the the model. Provide an appropriate example. So as I said, the expected output should be included in the prompt itself, and you know, break up your complex task into a simple task by creating some kind of steps. Okay. and doing an experiment and be creative. You know? So try different prompt to optimize the model response, you know, and determine which prompt is achieve what you want. You know? So doing an experiment and being creative is also going to be helpful in this case. One thing you'll have to I'll have to tell you that so these kind of generative tool, Gen AI tool, or especially AI tool can create an hallucination. So it can hallucinate to you. It can provide a wrong data also very confidently. Okay, so you should go and reevaluate the accuracy of a data what it has provided to you, and how will you do that? So ask that okay, whichever Gen AI tool you are using, so ask that Gen AI tool to give its sources. So from where it has created that response. So provide a key fact upfront in the prompt itself. And this is also going to be very helpful. So instruct the AI tool, respond, I don't know. If AI tool is not sure about how to respond. So that will help a lot of time. Because AI can, or especially that Gen AI tool can hallucinate, and it can give you wrong data. So it is very, very important, very, very critical to go and check the accuracy of the response it has given. It can also be sometime bias. You know, so for example, so I just give a prompt saying that write a sample job posting for a software engineer. So while writing that job post, so it may include, so we are looking for young, energetic software developer who can, work long hour and adapt quickly, you know. So this kind of a response it might generate. That response might be, seems biased for, other people. So who are comparatively older in age, you know. So there is a chances that it can create some inaccurate data. It can give you some kind of a bias response. So to avoid the biasness, so ask for inclusiveness and unbiased language upfront in your prompt itself. you know It also helpful to ask that ChatGPT or any kind of Gen AI tool to self-review for the accuracy as well as for biasness. Okay. Okay, so these are some example of prompts it is showing you over here. So these are simple examples we have included in this slide. So which prompt follows the you know, best practices? So compute the sum of the sequence of number 4, 8, 12, 16. What is the sum of these number? So this is a direct question. So, in my opinion, the prompt two is better. Okay. Because it includes, the simple language and uh, what it is asking the specific thing, what exactly that person wants. Okay. Summarize this article. So which is the, a prompt which follows the best practices. Summarize this article, and consider that we have included some article, down below, and provide the summary of this article and to be used in the blog post. So which one is, so of course, everybody will say prompt two is going to look better because it gives you, the more detailed description, of what exactly response he or she needs. You know, so the second prompt mentioned that summary will give you a blog post summary. Okay. So by looking at this, which one is, is giving you a more sense, which is the good prompt? So can you just give me, so prompt one or prompt two? Can you write in the chat? Let's see how many people are writing prompt one or prompt two. Okay. So what is the capital of New York? So provide the answer in the full sentence. Okay. So if you look at, so don't think this, what is the capital of India? Provide an answer in the full sentence. Instead, if you ask, what is the capital of, uh, India? So it may give you a one single sentence. So you should follow an best practice possible, while writing the prompt. So all these are the example of, writing a better prompt only. So I'll just, okay, move ahead. Okay. So always remember that important to evaluate model response. Okay. So whatever response that model has provided, I should go and check the accuracy of that response, whether that response is correct or not. You can ask to give the sources. You can just go and check the quality of a response. You know, then type and range of the response. Make changes to the prompt as needed, and let's see whether it is giving what we want, the closer response, you know, it's giving us a closer response, what we want. Okay. So with the experimentation, you can gain, the intuition for crafting and optimizing the prompt, because each day these tools, Gen AI tools, are getting also better and better, so that you know so that when you write a prompt, it might give you a similar kind of output. So every day these Gen AI tools are also learning along with. Okay. So in this section now, we will learn the the, the techniques of zero shot prompting, few shot prompting. So we'll see some of the techniques. So for example, let's say you have taken the example of zero shot prompting. So what is exactly a zero shot prompting does? So in the zero shot prompting, so you are going to give directly a prompt. You will not give what you want, how you want that output. You will not give that. So you're going to give directly a prompt. So based on what existing knowledge that model has, so it will give you the response in, so whatever be the existing knowledge it has. So, zero shot prompting provide a task to the model LLM in this case. So zero shot prompting is a technique where user presents a task to the LLM without giving the examples how they want the exact output, or how they want exactly the response should be. So you're not training to that LLM. So based on whatever be the pre-existing knowledge that model has, it will give you that output. That is your zero shot prompting. Okay. And tip for using zero shot prompting includes, the larger the LLM, the more likely to give zero shot prompt, which will yield to an effective result. So if you have a large LLM, okay, large amount of training data, if it is containing, so there is a chances that it might give you a better response. Instruction tuning can be improved, zero shot learning. So if you just tweak your instruction, okay, so it can improve the zero shot learning. So in this particular technique, you're going to give a straight away that task what you want, without giving any kind of a specific example. So you're not going to basically train to the model. Yeah. So in the uh, few short prompt example, you're going to give along with the prompt, you're going to give some kind of examples. So this that will understand that example, and that will help to learn from that example. Okay, and that model will be, learning from your example. Okay, and that learning, when you apply uh, the next time question, the similar kind of a question, it might give you the answer based on that learning also. Okay, so example of zero shot prompting. So tell me a sentiment of following social media post and category is positive, negative, and neutral. You know? So don't miss the electric vehicle revolution. Any company is ditching muscle car from EVs, creating a huge opportunity to the investor. This is positive sentiment or negative sentiments or neutral sentiment. It based on whatever that the model has pre-existing knowledge, it has to decide based on that. So you're not providing any kind of data that how it should recognize it as a positive, negative, or neutral. Okay. So where in the case of few shot learning, you're going to present some kind of examples. Okay, so you'll be presenting with some kind of example. So along with your task, what you should do, so you're going to provide some kind of a, background data, that background information, which can help the model to prepare your response in the better way. Yeah? So example of few short prompting. So along with this instruction, so tell me the sentiment of the following headline and categorize it as either positive, negative, or neutral. So you're presenting some example. So for example, this research firm fend off allegation of impropriety over new technology. It's a negative sentiment. Offshore wind firms continue to thrive as vocal minority in the position. Positive. Manufacturer plant largest target investing at the state official. You know. So if you give this as the input, let's see what is the output it is giving us. So for example, if I'm giving this prompt, whether I'm having this prompt or not. This prompt. No, I don't have this exactly a same prompt. But by the way, I'm having and another example for this. We can try this also if you want, but let me try this one. So I'm just asking, so to classify the sentiment of the following text. The course is awesome. So the sentiment is, of course, positive. You know, so you did not provide any kind of a data. So this is your few short. This is your zero shot prompting. You know? So the prompt is very simple. Include a zero example. That is simply a zero shot prompting. In the few shot prompting, you are going to include some contextual information by giving some uh, by giving some examples. So for example, so I've just given this classify the sentiment of the following as super may or as a neutral. Okay. And if I give some data that how I want. So sentiment is superb. If the text is this course is awesome. If the text is I am really confused by this course, sentiment is may. If the text is too far, so the sentiment is it was so then sentiment is neutral. If the text is I loved it, then sentiment is that you'll have to decide. So based on whatever be the existing knowledge that we have given, so let's see how it is giving, whether it is giving us superb or may or neutral. So for this text, it is giving me a superb. Now, if I give the same sentence, let's see whether it is giving a superb or whether it is giving a positive. Let's see what it is giving. Yeah. So it is giving a positive because whatever be the existing knowledge it has, okay. So it is taking into consideration that existing knowledge and it is giving you that data. But you need, okay, in this particular format, then you can provide that your contextual information by giving some examples. So how you want the output to be. So this is your few short the prompting. Then the chain of thought prompting is used to solve a complex problem by breaking down into some simpler task. So for example, so provide a task to a LLM and request the model to think step by step manner. So this is the most effective method of this is the most effective method when the task involves several steps, which requires a series of reasoning behind it. So, for example, I'm asking the user report that can't log to the company websites despite of entering their correct username and a password. Still, they are going to get the output. So, what could be the troubleshooting steps? So, include it step by step. So that could act as a chain of thought prompting. So you will provide a task to the LLM and request the model to think step by step manner. So for example, so you give this way a prompt. So which vehicle requires a larger down payment based on the following information? The total cost of the vehicle is $40,000 and requires 30% of down payment. The total cost of the vehicle B, $50,000 and it requires 20% of down payment. Okay, so think step by step manner. So step by step manner, it will calculate, first, you know, so both of these scenario, it will go and calculate and, then it ultimately gives you, which is the result. You know? So if I just give that earlier prompt where I've just included user login example. So if I just ask this, user reported that they can't log into the company's website. No? So I'm providing the context, the persona I'm providing that I'm working as a Java developer and user reports that they can't log into the company's website. They're entering the correct username password, but still they are getting error. So what steps could you take to troubleshoot this issue? So think step by step. So this could be act as a chain of thought. So where chain of thought is whenever you are asking for a complex problem, it breaks down that complex problem into some series of simple steps. You know, okay, so this is giving you some solution that you should try to immediate triage, do it, do this first. Okay, then quick server checkup, check the logs and metrics, validate authentication flow of a component, whether the password verification or hashing is correct or not, whether the session token is correct or not. So it is providing you, that general checkup. Step by step manner, it is going to give you how you should handle that complex task. You know? So this is your chain of thought. So used to solve a complex problem by breaking it down into a smaller task or simpler task. Yeah? So there are three techniques: zero shot prompting, few shot prompting, and chain of thought prompting. In zero shot prompting, you will give a question itself without including example. In few shot prompting, okay, you're going to uh, you know ask the task or question, and you will include some example, some sample question and sample answers. And in chain of thought prompt, so it used to solve a big problem, which has lots of steps. So it is going to break it down to a smaller step, and it will help that complex problem to understand, help you to understand in the simpler steps. So it is going to, break it down to a, small steps. Okay. So let me give you this example also. So let's see. So chain of thought, prompts example. So in a given week, the viewers of TV channel are followed. So Monday 6,500 viewer, Tuesday 6,400, Wednesday 6,300. Question: how many viewer can we expect on Friday? Answer based on the mod number of answer based on the number given without any more information. There are ideally decreasing, the the viewer by 100. If you assume this trend, it will continue during the following day, we can expect 6,200 viewers on the next day and 6,100 viewers on the Friday. Question: how many viewer can we expect on the Saturday? So think step by step and give me the answer. So, so if I just go and give this prompt, file, if I just provide this prompt, formatting. Now it is better. So while it presents you the output, it will give you how it has given you that output. It will give you a step-by-step calculation of the complex task. Okay. Feni, I can see your hand raised. So can you just write your question in the chat, please? If you have any question, please write it in the chat box, please. Okay. So in this particular session, so we have focused on the foundational model, then what exactly a role of a foundational model, and there are few sub model, like for example LLM is one of the sub model of your foundational model. So LLM which can work on text, which can take text as an input and which can give you text as out. Okay. So there are many subtypes of a foundational model. Okay. Then we have understood the key concept of a prompt engineering. Okay. So how your prompt should look. So it should include, the persona, the input data, context. Okay. The output format it should include, and any other additional information it should include. So which you can apply in any generative AI, tool. The concept of prompt engineering remains same, no matter you're using any kind of a Gen AI tool. Okay, and there are three techniques So zero shot prompting, few shot prompting, and chain of thought prompting. So we have understood that also. Okay. So thank you so much. So if you have any question, uh, I request you to write it down in the chat. I'll just stay here for another 5 minutes. Okay. Just to see whether you are having any question or not. So I'll just try to answer your questions. Okay, if you don't have any question, then requesting you to just write your feedback. I hope you must have shared a feedback link. Just write in case you want to you share your thought related to the session, okay, and give any kind of a feedback using which we can improve the session. Ahira, sorry, Athira, there is no best prompt. So best prompt you will have to form, by including whatever we have discussed, the best practices of writing uh, the prompt. So there can be a best practices which we have discussed. So for example, the prompt should include the persona, prompt should include the contextual information, contextual data, input data, you know, prompt should include the output format, how it should, include the output question, sample answers. So everything you should include, and that will form a best prompt. But there is no as such the list of best prompt, which you will have to form by including all these best practices. Uh, Penny is asking to write any prompt in the GPT, then ask other question in the same prompt. It will be considered as a chain of thought. It will be considered as, or it will be treated as, your existing data. So if you have already uh, written a question, okay, and if you are trying to improvise that question, so it can be act as a, or it can take the earlier question as a context data, okay, and it will be treated also as a chain of thought, because ultimately you are improving your prompt by giving some additional information related to the question. So yes, it will be considered as a chain of thought. Atira, what you are asking for reference purpose, 10.5. Okay. You are talking about where you find this information. No, no, no. If both prompt are a different topic, then they will not act as a chain of thought. No, so they will be treated as a both independent question. If you are improvising the same, the see initially when you ask a question, if let's say the GPT has given you a response, you want some improvement in that response, hence you ask a counter question to that. That will be treated as a if you're asking both completely two different kind of a question, it will not be considered as a thought. So it is better while writing the question itself, you include what you want. So all this information should be included inside your prompt itself, and never rely on uh, the GPT, because it can give you a wrong information also very confidently. So it's always better to check for the quality and the correctness of the response. The last question, friendly, what you was doing? Image creation is on text or PX. Image creation, you're talking about which tool it is using or which model it is using. So it is using some the image creation model. So DAL E or DAL E3 or DAL E2 it is using. Okay, so any other question guys you are having? Okay, and as I said, doing a experimentation and being creative is very, very important, because what you are, what you want, you may not be able to, get most of the time in one single prompt. So by giving a repeat prompt and, unless we are getting what we expect or what we, expect, which is closer to that we are getting. So till that time, we'll have to, improve the prompt. It can create image on the text. We give, but we I'm trying to understand Freddy's question. Can you say image and text? Yes, even that. Groups. Text. No, it is not doing like that. No? So it is doing, pixel by pixel, because what I have given you example, this may not be exactly same kind of image which is available. So it is drawing all these pixel by pixel. You can see this. So it is generating, altogether a new image pixel by pixel. Yeah. Okay. So guys, any other question you are having? Yeah, Tira, you'll have to connect to that person, Vivek, related to this. So you can either write an email or you can connect with him on his mobile number. So thank you guys. Thank you so much for attending this. So hope to see you in the next session. Till then, thank you. Thanks so much. I'm signing off. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks everyone. Thank you.